Hey everyone, today I'm talking with Marilyn Wilson, who lives in, near Dargaville, right? Or north of Dargaville?
Near Kaikoui.
Like near Kaikoui, okay, cool. Yeah, and we're from my office in Whangarei, and we've had some amazing talks about mental health and emotional health, and Marilyn's worked in for 30 years in the mental health area, right? And working with some of the worst cases of suicidal clients, or actually I'll let you describe like what sort of people have you worked with over the years?
Okay. From the time of graduation, I was a mature graduate, so I was thrown in the deep end and worked in inpatient mental health unit for really chronic people who had been in institutions for years and years and years. Worked in the community, this is in Auckland, worked in the community with people with personality disorders, depression, all the emotional disorders, and schizophrenia, but substance abuse as well.
Wow.
And then
what got you into that, by the way?
What got me into that? Oh, okay. Well, I grew up in this little country town called Taihape.
Yeah.
And I never got qualifications. I left school 15, went off and did sharing gang work, farming work, fruit picking, you name it, for all my teenage years.
Cool.
And then I met my husband and I started an apprenticeship in upholstery and got pregnant, and so that was the end of that, had children. And it was really when the relationship broke down, it was like, okay, how do I feed two children and have some security for the rest of my life? And because I was an arty-farty person and doing pottery and, you name it, I had done it. It was like, okay, can I do any of this and make a living? No.
True.
And then I thought, I could add some therapy into it, and then I realised I didn't have any skills in that, and so I discovered occupational therapy and went to Auckland and did my training. And so that was kind of my journey. And then, of course, I was employed for 20 years after that before I became self-employed. So it took a long time to get to the self-employed stage.
Yeah. And then because when I first met you, you said that you were in UK and you were in this. You created this team of people that were like a crisis unit. That if there was anyone, is it in hospital or anything, or in medical?
They were all living in the community, but they were using up A&E time. They were self-harming and suicidal, and using ambulance in A&E a lot. And so our service was a pilot to see if, and it was funded by the NHS, and it was DBT focused, which is dialectical behavioural therapy, which is a variation on cognitive behavioural therapy.
Alrighty. I don't know a lot about cognitive behavioural therapy, but I know it's quite widely used.
It's evidence-based because it's easy to kind of look at what you're doing, and there's kind of a change.
Awesome.
But what they found with people with personality disorders is that when you do CBT and you do some thought challenging, they'll go away and find the evidence to justify their position.
Yes, yeah.
And so DBT is all about finding the dialectic, which is about, that's one perspective, but here's another. And so you hold the two perspectives.
Cool. That's cool.
So it doesn't become an argument, and it's just, I've got one way of looking at it, you've got another way.
Nice.
But that service was, I was managing that service for 8 years, and we built it from nothing. It was about, okay, let's find a philosophy. And then, what's our entranceway? So we were able to develop a way of getting people into the service that got rid of all the hurdles that you find in mental health. So there was no wait list, they could get in there.
Wow.
And once they'd been in the service, they could just come back any time after discharge. They didn't have to go through any other, jump through any hurdles.
And did you mention that you guys had quite a successful rate with your clients as well? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the 8 years I was managing, we built up from having 4 counsellors, 4 psychologist counsellors, to having 17 underneath my service. And in that time, I think there were about 8,000 clients went through that service, and we never lost any.
Wow.
That were in
8,000.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. We need this now in New Zealand.
We do.
Yeah, well, actually in all countries, really, because it's such a, the demand is growing, you know, in today's society.
But we had the luxury of sitting down with somebody and doing a complete life history and a complete battery of assessments from physical health, emotional well-being, lifestyle, suicidality, and then the full life history.
Wow.
So, that induction would quite often might take 2 sessions.
Wow,
and then you had a comprehensive picture of where their problems began.
For sure, yeah. Things would make a bit more sense though when you got the whole picture. And
they do.
Yeah. Far out. So I've got a bunch of questions that I want to ask you, but so when someone's in that place of suicidal, what is actually going on? What have you found is going on internally for them, or emotionally and mentally?
Well, my clinical hat would say, engaging the level of risk. Is it a thought? Do they have a plan? Do they have the resources? And so that escalates it up, because many people have thoughts with no intention of ever acting on it.
True.
And then it's about you focus on the thought, and it's about what's the purpose of that. And quite often it's about, I've got a problem, I don't know what to do, I'll kill myself. And then it goes away because they move on to problem solving. But if they've got a plan, then it's about what's the plan, what's the likelihood of them achieving with that plan, and then do they have the resources. So if they're going to overdose, do they have a source of pills? Are they going to hang themselves? Is there a rope? So you just kind of work your way through that.
Yep. All right. And in your experience, what do people in that state need most in that moment? Well,
going back to what might trigger it, sources, reasons for people becoming suicidal can be high levels of shame, hopelessness, just no means of getting themselves out of a situation. And so if you think about being hopeless, you're feeling isolated, you're feeling in a hole. And the key thing that any therapist has to is to engage in a relationship, to commit, to offer them something that will give hope. And connection.
Yes.
Those 2 things really will hold them. And the verbal contract, I'm committing, I'm going to give you another appointment, I'm committing to you, I expect you to commit. This is going to take time, and work with me.
Nice.
And so you just have that. I believe in you, and life is valuable, and here I am. I'm here to help.
Awesome. And how long would you often work with someone, like in your processes?
I mean,
I guess it would vary. Like,
it
it might be a
varies.
couple of sessions or more, right?
Yeah. So most therapies should be time framed, and
Yep.
I mean, a simple case might be 8 to 12 weeks. But for the complexity of the people that I tend to attract, it's 12 months, 2 years.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
In that time, you develop quite a strong relationship, and I use a reverence quite a bit. You know, it's about if they're coming up with something incredibly serious, like, I'm going to kill myself, it's, well, that's a solution. Not very creative, but, maybe we can look at what's causing the problem. Can I help you problem solve? Can I help you think your way through this?
Awesome. Yeah, I really like that, because you shared, when we first met, like, if someone's like you've got like a few seconds to really, I guess, pattern interrupt or something in your phone call when you're talking with someone in that state, and if you want to share like what you would say to someone that's telling you that.
In the UK, we did phone call support, and that was from 9 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And just knowing that people have that is, very comforting, and they understand the purpose. It's got to have a purpose, and that's about, let me help you find some skills to get through this difficult moment, and that it's time framed. And the phone calls were limited to 10 minutes.
Oh wow.
And in that 10 minutes, it's like the first thing you want to know is, where are they, in case they go offline. It's, where are you? Are you at a train station? Are you at the supermarket? Are you in your car? Okay. So location is important, so that if they go offline, you can call emergency services. So risk first. And then it's about what's going on. And you don't want them to spend too much time talking about that, because the more they talk about it, the lower they go.
Yeah.
And so depending on the level of distress, and if they're starting to dissociate, it's about just listen to my voice. Listen. No, you just really get them to focus on you and your voice. And then deep breathing, and you take them through breathing, and you do it with them and breathe them through it. And by then you're 3 minutes into a phone call. And then it's about, are you feeling better now? Can you hear what I'm saying? What can we do to help you? And I remember with one girl, she was on the tube in London, young girl, and so I got her focusing on my voice, and then I said, now I want you to look around the cabin and find the person with the ugliest clothes and describe it to me. And I just brought her into complete distraction.
Wow.
And by the time she'd focused on this particular person, she was kind of laughing at the end of it. And so I got her out of that shocking, awful hole that she was in, into, okay, I'm back. And it's about what triggered it. Is there anything we need to do? Are you okay now? And then end the phone call.
And then you probably booked in a follow-up as well with them, or?
It depends.
Yeah.
For some of them, I will say, I'm going to call you in the morning.
Yep.
Or if I think, I'm going to forget that, it's about, can you call me in the morning or text me and let me know you're okay.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to be doing when you go home? Who's there?
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah. And it's learning to let go. It's that you've done your piece of work, and they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Anytime I've ever worried, I will text a little bit later and say, I'm just checking in on you. I've still got some concerns. And they'll come back and either reassure me or say, no, I'd like another phone call.
Oh, yeah, it's good. So yeah, generally when you end the conversation, you actually feeling better yourself as after talking to them, because you're reading what the vibe is, and
you gauge it.
Yeah. And if you end the call like, yeah, I think that ended well, that's okay. But when you're not sure, that's when you'll touch back.
And you can do that because in DBT it's all about the relationship.
Yeah.
And I think it aligns a lot with our Maori people as well, that the relationship is where you start.
Yeah.
Because that's what holds them.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get that when you feel like when you're talking to someone and they go into the negative, you do feel like my energy sinks with like as they're talking, and then when someone's talking about the positive and you actually feel the energy, like you're just feeling lighter just talking about that. And
you know when you listen to, you know when there's and you know there's a kind of a terminology of mobilise hope, and it's about, I know you're feeling bad, but you know the therapy that we're using works.
Yeah.
You need to give it time.
Yeah. What would you say are some of the biggest myths or misunderstandings that people have about people that are in that state of, suicidal or thinking?
Well, having suicidal thoughts is actually not a problem to the client. It's a solution to a problem. And in actual fact, we're all entitled to make our own choices, which is a harsh thing to say, but it's having faith in human nature, that they're resilient. Most people, have had worse than what they've got today in their history, and they've got this far, so they'll get through this one.
Yeah.
It's that belief that, you've done it before, you've had these suicidal thoughts for years, maybe coming and going, but you've got through them.
Yeah, amazing.
And it's believing in their resilience, I guess, and knowing that they have. I know one young lady I met for the first appointment, and she came and she said, I don't know why I'm here, I'm going to kill myself. And I said, oh, okay. But I've set aside an hour, so let's, see if there's anything I can do to help. And then at the end of it, she said, thanks for your time, but I'm still going to kill myself. And I said, okay, I hope you don't, and I'm giving you another appointment. And somewhere in the appointment she'd told me she had a cat to feed, and so I let her go home saying she was going to kill herself because she had a cat to feed, and she accepted my appointment for next week, and she came back. It's about, I guess, understanding and having that faith in your own judgment and your own therapy, I guess, as well.
Yeah. That's so good. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah.
It's not how we're trained.
Yeah, exactly.
In mental health, it's risk averse. It's about call a crisis team, and that's the last thing they need. Yeah.
I like your approach of trusting that they are strong enough to get through it, rather than making them more of a victim and helpless and not able to fix them their own life or sort themselves out. That's what the way I like to work as well, is having the intention that they have the power within them, though they might not be accessing that power right now. It can be accessed and can be brought to the surface again.
A key in my trauma work is that first appointment, they've got to go away thinking this is something different. Because many of them have had lots and lots of counselling and interventions over the years, and each time they go and come out not feeling that much better, they get more and more hopeless and disillusioned.
Sure.
And so that first session needs to be something that they go away with thinking, actually I learnt something. And mostly, if you think about people with trauma, they're usually going through life dissociated, not even knowing they're dissociated, disconnected, just kind of in that survival brain.
Yeah.
And so, I have that conversation about, how's your sleep, having nightmares, high levels of shame, just tick off the trauma symptoms. And then I will educate them about the trauma brain. And once they kind of see that, and I draw the picture of the brain, and I just de-jargonize it, higher brain, survival brain, and talk about that and what dissociation is. And most of them kind of say, my God, I didn't even know I dissociated.
Wow.
And
So what are dissociating, so they're living in fight, flight, survival, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you think about fight, flight, what is it? Fight, flight?
Freeze, maybe?
Freeze, and then the shutdown.
Okay.
And dissociation is shutdown.
Oh, okay. And what's shutdown?
Shutdown is a little bit like the electricity system in a house. If you overload it, the whole
fuse
thing,
goes out.
The fuse goes out.
Okay.
And so
blank.
Our brain just
Yeah.
You lose sight of space or time or anything going on around you.
Yeah. So not so good at thinking logically and
it's not.
Yeah.
And I remember one lovely young Maori girl, she was 21, 22, part of a big family, and I did that session with her about that and gave her, I had scribbles, I draw things, and she said, can I take those? And off she went. And after her third session, she called a family hui, a whānau hui, and she had 35 whānau in the room, and she talked about what she'd learnt in my sessions.
Wow.
Showed them the handouts, and they all connected, they all had.
Wow, that was awesome.
And they were all going off to counselling.
Wow.
She
That's
said, you can find a counsellor that listens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. With that, in every profession, there are some that stand out from the others. There are some average ones, and
I think a mistake from I've had so many clients in the last 6 years while I've been doing ACC work who've had lots of counselling and had 1 session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions and not gone back.
Yeah.
Because
I've heard about a lot of people saying that as well.
And it seems like a common mistake that counsellors are making is filling this bit of paper.
Oh, okay.
And in actual fact, I will say, so why are you here? What have you come for? Are you sleeping aid, the trauma symptoms. And then and I'll say to them, I've just got this 1 page I need to fill in before you leave, but we'll do that at the end. And
that's a good idea, because you're not losing connection right from the start. And that's great.
The other thing you need to do, which also I'm aware of that these clients we're talking about, is that they're leaving sessions distressed.
Yes.
And you do need to leave that time at the end to debrief or to talk about the weather or Donald Trump or bring them back into the real world.
Yeah.
So that
for sure.
And I know where I use clinic space, and they've all commented that my clients come out laughing, and that they've not seen that with any other counsellor.
Wow.
So that's kind of the 2 things at the beginning and the end that you've got to pay attention to.
Yeah, that's true. With the neurotransformation therapy that I do, the discovery at the beginning is quite heavy, because I'm like, I'm asking them what emotions are they carrying, what events in the past, and obviously when they bring it up, it brings it fresh, and and obviously it's like it can really bring it to the surface, and that's not easy for some people, and but yeah, once we actually get into the release work, obviously it's a lot better because it's lightening the load, getting the lessons, and but it's just that initial phase. It's like I'm just aware of. It's like it's not easy, but necessary to know what needs to be released and that, and
And I talk about whatever comes up is a memory.
Yes.
And it's to remember it's not happening now, and remembering it can't be as bad as experiencing it. And so anything that we do is not going to be anywhere near as bad as what you've been through in the past.
Yeah.
And it's just that comforting kind of putting it into, I guess, a tidy little box.
Yeah. That's good. I've got another interesting question for you. What kinds of language or responses tend to make things worse, even if they're well intended? Is there something that you that you as a no-no of what to say?
I think no, they don't need sympathy.
Yeah.
Sympathy is just it's terrible.
Yeah.
Acknowledgement. Yeah, I can see that you're feeling this.
Yeah.
I can see it, you're hurting, etc. So acknowledgement rather than colluding with it.
Yeah.
And it's a little.
That's quite a common thing. Yeah, I'd say that's what most people get, sympathy.
Yeah.
So wow.
And I guess I'm not really answering your question about what not to do, but it is naming it. And I remember talking at a conference one time and talking about deal with the shame in your first session, and the psychologist said, you don't go to shame, they'll never come back, and it's about you name it and say I can see you're feeling shame, or tell me what you're feeling, those kind of things, and then talking about appropriate shame or inappropriate shame. Many of our clients hold the shame, and they're the victim. They need to give it back to the perpetrator.
Wow. Yeah.
And Paul Gilbert is the god of shame.
Yep.
And he talks about appropriate shame, because we have shame and guilt and all those emotions because we're hardwired to be sociable, and that kind of aligns us that if we've done something outside the social norms, we feel shame, and that's it's appropriate to feel that.
Yeah.
And so anytime anybody is telling me that they've done something and they feel shame, I think, it's good that you feel that, but now that it's alerted you, you don't need it.
Yeah.
But then it's about, is that shame that you're carrying yours to carry, or does it belong to somebody else?
Yeah. It's fascinating stuff, because I've become so aware from working with all these people that it's just so common. Pretty much. I don't even know if there's anyone that doesn't have any shame, Well, it's like...
it's only the psychopaths who don't have shame.
Yeah, true. Because you grow up, in your childhood, and, you might get embarrassed at school or something happen, and, even for myself, I got stood up, and when I was about 7 years old, everyone was sitting down reading a book. The teacher was reading a book to us. And I was talking in class. I shouldn't be talking. I wasn't being naughty. And then the teacher said, "Jamie, stand up and sing us a song." And I only got a couple of words out, and then I just froze because I lost the word and the key, and then I was just like, I wanted to shrivel, and then I just sunk down to the carpet, and I just wanted to hide, and And I just, kids were laughing at me, and I just thought, oh, I'm so not cool. I'm a loser. Like no one's gonna like me. Little experience like that can really shape a person's life and how they perceive others to see them. And I thought, the girls aren't going to like me after that. I can't, they think I can't sing and whatever else it is. And during the work I did, I actually went back to that and could release that shame, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm more relaxed about myself now, and the way I see myself. So it's fascinating.
And one way of looking at emotions in DBT is looking at the purpose. Yep. All our emotions have a function, a purpose. Anger is about protection. Shame is about, am I behaving in an appropriate way? Jealousy is about, am I getting what I need in comparison to other people?
Yeah.
And it's helping people to understand the purpose of those emotions, and that kind of helps them think, actually it doesn't have a purpose now.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have much longer, but I was just wondering if you could share, if there's practitioners that are working with trauma, grief, emotional distress, what skills matter more than techniques?
Listening.
Yep.
And it's hear what they're not saying. Virginia Satir wrote a lovely poem about hear what I'm not saying, and it's a beautiful poem, and it's about the words say one thing, but what are they saying?
Yeah.
What are they actually saying?
Yeah, true.
And I remember working with a 14-year-old girl one time, and they said she doesn't like counsellors, she's not going to engage, but try. And so I met her a couple of times, and I was doing nothing pretty much. I didn't want to scare her off. And in the third session she said, this is boring, it's a waste of time. And I thought, so what do you want from me? And she said, I hate myself. I am turning into my mother. I strangled somebody at school the other day. That's what my mother used to do. I yell and I scream. I hate myself. And then she slumped down on the table with her head in her arms. And I just said then, so what are you feeling right now? And she didn't know. And she wasn't able to name it. And I said, well, given the conversation that the things you were just talking about and your body language, I'm wondering if you're feeling shame. And she sprung up and she said, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm feeling.
Wow.
And
wow.
So off she went happy, and next week I saw her and she said, I don't need to see you anymore. I've worked out what shame is, and I've been telling everybody about shame. And she
wow. Yeah, well done. That's good. Yeah. So it's definitely trusting what you're seeing and feeling and noticing in the relationship, and
it's looking, you find the truth by looking for the mismatches in what they're saying and what they're describing.
Exactly, yeah.
And what they're demonstrating in their body.
Yeah.
And there's many a time over in the UK that therapists would be struggling with a client and they'd invite me to join them for a session. And time and time again, they'd be saying, I've got anxiety. And then they tell me what they're thinking and they're feeling, and I say, it doesn't sound like anxiety to me, it sounds like anger, it's
wow.
Because that thought doesn't match.
Yeah. And I've seen that before as well, and it's like, it just doesn't make sense what you're saying, and it's almost like they're not as emotionally attached as what they're saying as it. And it's like, something doesn't,
because in the body, anger is exactly the same bodily response as anxiety.
True.
As in sexual arousal as well. And a lot of people won't talk about actually being sexually aroused. and especially if they've had interference at an early age, they're much more likely to experience that as opposed to anxiety quite often, and they don't differentiate.
Wow. Far out.
And you know, the books don't tell you about some of the stuff.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's why it's great to talk to you because of your experience. And if someone is listening and is struggling right now, what would you want them to know about their thoughts and their future?
I believe there's no problem that can't be solved. Sometimes you need help to solve it, sometimes it takes a bit of time, but I think there's a creative way of getting out of it, a fix. And so it's just having hope and resilience, and I guess change your expectations, because quite often the distress we experience is a mismatch between what we want and what life's delivering. And you know, the Buddhist kind of foundation talk about acceptance, that our internal struggles are that mismatch.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean to say you have to like it or agree with it or tolerate it, but it's accept that this is my reality at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Because
so true.
that's your grounding is, this is what's going on for me, and what do I need to do to change it. Whereas if I'm it's like falling down a hole and grabbing a stick halfway down, and you spend all your energy holding onto the stick, and you can't go up, you can't go down.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to let go of the stick, go to the bottom, sit down, have a rest, and figure out how to get out.
Awesome, thank you for sharing that. I got one more question. So if a friend or family member is worried about someone they love, what's the most important first step they can take?
Let them know that they're worried about them, and ask them.
Wow.
You know, there's a concern that if you ask somebody if they're suicidal, that you'll prompt them to kill themselves or act on it, and that's not the case. That is not the case at all. So yeah, it's about, I can see that you're not really happy at the moment.
Wow.
You're not thinking of killing yourself, are you? Or are you thinking of killing yourself? How deep a hole are you in? What can I do to help? And it's just letting them know you care.
Yeah.
You don't need to kind of lock them in a room and keep them safe. It's about connect with them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's deep. You know, it's like I'm just still feeling that right now. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I definitely could talk longer. We don't have time today to talk longer, but maybe we could do some more in the future, hopefully. But
Cool.
But I think just what you shared today is just so valuable for humans, whether you're just an everyday person or a practitioner or a family member, you know, that cares about others, because that is a big thing right now with our modern life. It's there's disconnection because of the online world and expectations from looking at other people online and comparing, and so it's pretty hard out.
Yeah, and I think it's important that, you know, I understand that people get lots of advice, but they don't actually have the skill to implement it. And it's understanding, I guess, how people learn and what they don't know. And you can never underestimate what people don't know, because if there's been any interruption in their life that's interrupted their human development, they've got gaps. They talk about splinter skilling, and that they might be very articulate, but their understanding of what they're talking about might not be there.
Wow. Okay. Oh well, no, thank you, Marilyn. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your expertise and awesome. Hopefully, we talk again sometime again.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay.